Welcome to the continuation of my day 7 um, journey, I'm going to call it. This is where I already put in the Grand Canyon. We've seen the Grand Canyon. We're heading from the Grand Canyon over to the Valley of the Gods, which is the next ride that I do. From the Valley of the Gods, I go from there to the Four Corners, which is a monument depicting the exact point where the four corners come together, being Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado, all come to one point. You could literally stand at that one point and be on um, all four states. So that's coming up as well, and then further on down, I do my last ride in Durango. I split this day up because I have 3 rides here. I really wanted to focus on the Grand Canyon ride. I enjoyed that ride thoroughly. Now, my friends think that I should have put in bears there and, you know, spaceships and monsters coming out of the woods just to make it more exciting, which tells me that these are boring as all get up, and for that I say, sorry, this is what I got. I didn't do this for the excitement. I did this because it's a personal challenge to myself. Plus, there were multiple places I absolutely wanted to go to. Mount Rushmore, I wanted to go to Hoover Dam, and I wanted to go to Grand Canyon. All three accomplished. I also wanted to go every state. Well, the every state after of the west of the Mississippi came after my initial thoughts were to get to those 3 locations, but I'm glad I did it because I also got to Louisiana, Arkansas, 2 states I probably would not have done because they're kind of far south. And I did it in 11 days, which I thought was quite the feat all on its own. So, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to make this as exciting as possible with the resources I have. So forgive me if it's boring. I apologize for that, but I am trying to make it wonderful and give you some scenery that I got that I could take snapshots as I was driving along. So hopefully you continue watching. Hopefully you enjoy. Otherwise, keep going, and we got 4 days left before we're done. Thanks, guys.
The Valley of the Gods in Utah is a scenic area known for its towering sandstone buttes and mesas, sculpted by erosion over millions of years from the Cedar Mesa Sandstone Formation. While not a formally designated trail, a 17-mile unpaved loop road allows visitors to explore the valley's unique geological features. The area is also considered sacred by some Native American tribes, particularly the Navajo, who believe the rock formations house the spirits of warriors. Written by Rahawa Haile, to the west of Bluff, Utah, in the state's southeast corner, an unassuming 17-mile gravel road branches off from U.S. Route 163. The path cuts an arc through cultural and geological riches aptly named the Valley of the Gods, where red rock formations tower hundreds of feet in the air, sculpted by the Earth's most reliable architects, wind and water. Buttes and soaring pinnacles are shaded orange and red from the oxidized iron within, their Cedar Mesa sandstone dating back over 250 million years. Line after horizontal line, the years unfold vertically, the striations of time shimmering in the heat like a magic eye puzzle. The arid plain is dotted with blooming yucca in the spring, sage and rabbit brush, Indian paintbrush, and other wildflowers. Life endures in the cracks of the world as it always has, in caves and trunk hollows. The San Juan River, lifeblood of the Four Corners area, lies to the south, carving gorges as it surges westward to meet the Colorado River. It is no wonder the Valley of the Gods is sacred to the Navajo, whose mythology holds that these grand spires contain the spirits of Navajo warriors. Indeed, the greater Bears Ears area around the valley contains more than 100,000 sites of cultural significance to Native Americans, including the creation mythologies of tribes such as the Ute and Navajo, for whom Bears Ears is akin to their Garden of Eden. The area serves as a history book written in fossils and artifacts, in the bones of indigenous ancestors and the plants that healed and fed them.
All right, that was AI me. Yeah, that's right. I decided to throw some AI in there. The reason for it was to give you a little bit of history on the Valley of the Gods. I thought this was a very unique, very awe-inspiring, I guess, place. At one point in time, I asked myself, I wonder why they call it the Valley of the Gods. Now I know, and now you know, because I added it. So there were some pretty unique formations, and I mean, there was one there that literally look like, and I'll slow it down for that one when I see it, but it literally looked like 3 or 5 warriors standing, right up against one another in a formation. It was pretty outstanding. So now moving on, I tried to enhance to the best of my ability some of the formations that I saw. There's 2 ahead of one. This one looks like somebody standing top of a rock. It didn't do so good on the enhancement. This is the warrior one. From a distance, not so much warrior looking, but it does look like warrior standing literally back to front as you go along. So I sped this up a bit just because of the length of the ride. I believe I went about 4 miles. I think I went 2 out, 2 back. It was a decent ride. I enjoyed it. A little bit on the gravelly, but it was more like a hard-packed gravel. And as you can see, there's like rock, little like solid rock formation under the road. Here, not proud of this, but I had to walk up that far because, that's me. So, moving on, continued on this path. Continued talking about different things. I didn't really want to add all that in. There's a lot of wind. I get a lot of wind off of my helmet, unfortunately. But beautiful. Love the ride. Very invigorating. The second ride of this day, obviously the first one was Grand Canyon. I put the ride together by itself. The second ride was this ride. I went to the Four Corners, which I will add in here next as we go through. And then lastly, I ended in Durango, where I rode also in Durango. So it was a pretty good run all together. I really had a good time this day. Grand Canyon really set the pace for this whole day. And I enjoyed this ride. I did. It was very exhilarating. It's pretty cool because the RVs that come in here, as you can see, there were cars that passed me on either road. So this is actually a road. It's a gravel road, but still a road. And you'll notice that there's like RVs that come in here and park in here. And honestly, I think it's for free. So they come in here and they enjoy the scenery and the evenings and days and all that good stuff. So quite a few people here when I was here. And when I say people, I'd say probably I saw about 6, I'm going to say about 6, maybe 8 motorhomes that were out here, and people driving around just going to town or wherever they were going. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the scenery. Again, going back to some things I said, I'm not the real big into the reds and stuff and all of that. See, there's another camper right there you can see off to the right. Not big into all that, but it was very intriguing, and I really enjoyed this ride. I think we're coming pretty close to the end of this ride. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed the Grand Canyon one as well. And this one had me a little bit nervous because of the traffic. And it wasn't a lot of traffic, don't get me wrong. It was a decent amount. As you can see, we saw one there that just went by, another one that went by. There's yet a third one coming up here. I think most of these people are just sightseeing, checking it out, seeing what's up here. But yeah, it was a great ride. I really enjoyed this ride. It's called the Valley of Gods. It is a 17-mile. It's not technically a trail. It's a road through the Valley of Gods. And like I said, it's 17 miles. I chose not to do the 17. I chose to do 4, just to kind of give you a little bit of a picturesque of what's going on and stuff like that. And I think you see another camper right here, parked up and set up. And then you can see some formations there in the background. I mean, I should be getting close to the car. I think you see, I think that's a camper coming at me. And I am parked up a little bit from here on the left-hand side there. I believe somebody pulled in just as I was coming in. Yep, and there I am right there. So there you have it. That was the Valley of the Gods. And hopefully you had as much fun as I did. And we're going to move on to the Four Corners, followed by Durango. So enjoy the ride. While we look at some of these pictures as I'm driving down the roads, I'm going to go ahead and put in a vlog I did about the Tower of Babel. Just some thoughts to myself that I recorded and thought were pretty, I don't know, interesting in my mind. Some of you may not want to hear it. Just skip on over. But otherwise, yeah, enjoy the Tower of Babel. Alright, I decided to add another blog this morning, and the reason is because I was thinking about it. I'm thinking about the story of the Tower of Babel, and in the Tower of Babel, everybody spoke the same language, and the people then were creating a tower to God. Now, with that being said, God decided that if man could communicate to one another, then they would be able to accomplish what they were trying to do, and they would get to the kingdom of heaven with this tower. And he changed their language and literally gave them different dialects, and in doing so we have different dialects today, obviously. So this goes back to the Tower of Babel. Now I think to myself, how could they have breathed in space? Because my thought was heaven is in space. Maybe heaven's not in space. What if heaven is above the clouds? Now some of you are going to say, well, I've climbed Mount Everest, I've been in a plane, I've seen above the clouds, there's nothing there. I got news for you. I watch videos all the time, and I've seen situations where stuff happens here on Earth and we don't see anything happening, meaning stuff moves, something falls off a shelf, something this, that, and the other thing. There has to be some form of, for lack of better terms, invisibility that allows somebody, whoever it be, angels, demons, whatever, to move around unseen. Now my question is, what if you can't see it unless you're actually dead? I mean, maybe heaven is the clouds. And they were building the Tower of Babel, and they were heading up towards the clouds. Now I remember in the Bible it says that, God created the blue and he created the different layers, and I'm almost thinking that heaven is in between space and earth. And the only thing I can think of between heaven and earth, or space and earth, is the cloud level. I don't know, just a thought. Thought I'd throw it out there. Yeah. Let me know what you think. Later.
City of Durango history. History of the city of Durango. The Denver and Rio Grande Railroad Company formed Durango along the banks of the Animas River in September 1880 to serve the San Juan mining district. Lots of silver, and later even more of gold, was being discovered in the mountains ever since gold fever struck in 1872 and resulted in the settlement of mining towns like Silverton, 50 miles north. Durango had a more tolerable climate and a good supply of water and coal for operating the smelters to pull precious metals out of the ore. The railroad company chose a site south of the town of Animas City for its depot. It bought up the land in the eventual downtown Durango area using various different names to conceal what it was doing. The land was purchased for less money this way. When the train steamed through Animas City on its way north in 1881, it didn't even stop there. What's in a name? Durango, Colorado was named after Durango, Mexico. As the story goes, Colorado's former territorial governor, A.C. Hunt, was traveling through Durango, Mexico at the time when the name for the new town was being decided, and thought the two regions looked similar. The word Durango originates from the Basque word Durango, meaning water town or well-watered place. There is also a Durango, Spain. The three Durangos are sister cities and have exchanged gifts and formal visits of their officials. Native Americans had camped along the banks of the Animas River for thousands of years. Archaeologists have found evidence that this area experienced a population boom in the latter part of the 8th century, about 1,200 years ago. Some think more people lived here then than now. By the time the Ute Indians settled here, Centuries later, these ancient ancestral Puebloans had mysteriously disappeared from their last homeland, including the area now called Mesa Verde National Park. The Ute Indians sheltered in the abandoned dwellings and enjoyed the ample fishing and hunting opportunities the area offered. When the Spanish explorers Dominguez and Escalante passed through on August 9, 1776, while the American War of Independence was beginning on the East Coast, the Animas River had already been named El Rio de las Animas. Mining gold. Back to our story about Durango. Hundreds of gold miners had camped out in this area in 1860, but within a year of its founding in 1880, Durango had a population of 2,400 and really began to grow. People arrived from many countries to work in the smelters and mines and on the railroad. By the turn of the century, Durango had become a vacation destination with the creation of the San Juan National Forest in 1905 and Mesa Verde National Park in 1906. The population of the city of Durango doubled to 4,086 by 1910. By the middle of the 20th century, Durango had many of the amenities that residents enjoy today, including the airport with its long 9,201-foot runway located on the Southern Ute Reservation about 12 miles south of the city. On 420 acres the city purchased in 1946. Fort Lewis College, which relocated to Durango in 1956. Onto 193 acres, the city provided for a token sum of $8,400. FLC became a four-year college in 1962, and the Purgatory Durango Mountain Ski Resort, which opened for business in 1965. Durango today tourism is an important aspect of Durango's economy, along with recreation, natural resources development, education, government, and business. And the Durango-Silverton Narrow Gauge Railroad continues to run on the spectacular narrow gauge railroad that was carved through the mountainsides along the Animas River Valley more than a century ago. Learn more about the history of the city of Durango, Colorado by opening your choice of over 20 free ebooks, most of which are included in the 500-page book of Durango Doings. For even more, you can search the historical section of the city's public access records portal. The history of Durango is the history of the West in microcosm. The history of the West is the history of westward expansion, and thus of the New World. History is the study of persons and the effects of the decisions they have made. History of the city charter Durango, Colorado, county seat of La Plata County, is a home rule city with the council-manager form of government. According to the Colorado Constitution, home rule means that the citizens have the full right of self-government in local and municipal matters. By the overwhelming vote by its citizens in the election of September 3, 1912, Durango changed its governing officials from aldermen to commissioners and became the fourth city in Colorado to adopt a home rule charter. Its switch to home rule was preceded only by Denver in 1904 and Colorado Springs and Grand Junction in 1909. Establishing home rule, actual changes in the city's form of government didn't happen. Until 1913 and 1915, the 1912 home rule charter election started the ball rolling. The first municipal elections to select commissioners under the terms of the charter were held in April of 1913. The next month, Durango switched from having 9 aldermen, a mayor, and 4 pairs of elected council members who represented the 4 wards of the city, to having just 3 commissioners, each representing the whole of the city. The presence of 2 council members constituted a quorum. The 3 commissioners elected a mayor from among themselves. This bare-bones commissioner form of government didn't last long. In the general municipal election on April 6, 1915, citizens voted by a large majority to change the city charter to move to a commissioner-manager form of government and to increase the number of council members from 3 to 5. Thus, Durango became one of the first municipalities in the nation to have an appointed city manager, rather than an elected mayor as its chief administrator to manage the day-to-day operations of the city. Durango's city council selected Andrew Hood as its first city manager on July 6, 1915. Hood was an undertaker by profession. His company, Hood Mortuary, is still in business in Durango today at the north end of East 3rd Avenue. The city's second charter election on November 7, 1978, further refined Durango's council-manager form of government. Council members henceforth were called councilmen rather than commissioners. The council members chose among themselves the mayor and mayor pro tem, as they still do today.
I wanted to throw in a little bit of history of Durango there. I thought it was needed to be done, shall we say. Beautiful area, beautiful ride. The people there are really nice and friendly. It was overall a good place to go. So I thought, you know what, let's throw some history in there. Now that history was taken from a website called durangoco.gov 274 history. And it is the history of Durango as it stands. So that was taken directly from that website, and the AI voice is mine. I just had it clone my voice. At some point in time, it actually sounded like a different language. I have no idea what that was. Had to be an AI screw up. But anywho, so yeah, I enjoyed the ride here. It was a longer ride, and you can't really tell from this camera view, but it actually started getting a little bit dark here. So I decided to book it on home, or back to the hotel in this case. Durango is beautiful. I think this is the river that they were talking about in history, and this is the railroad that goes by the city. Just absolutely gorgeous, and you can see the mountains in the background and everything. It was cold, very cold here. The river here, being that close to the river, was cold as well. Saw a lot of people on this trail, a lot of walkers, dog walkers, people just talking, and yeah, I just had a really good time with this area. The city itself, I didn't spend a lot of time in the cities, as you know, from my videos, because the goal was to ride in every city or every state west of the Mississippi, 23 total rides, including Wisconsin, which is technically east of the Mississippi, but that's where I started. So 23 states, and I rode in every single one of them. So the goal was not to look around, see what's there, that kind of stuff. It was more of a get in, get your ride in, and move on, which is what I did here, and I was grateful. I did 3 rides this day. I did the Grand Canyon was my first ride, and I made sure to put that in the. That one was by itself. I felt that it deserved its own area because it was extremely majestic. The Valley of the Gods was also outstanding. I put a little bit of that AI voice in there because I really wanted to do the history. And as you can hear from me now, the uhs and ums and all that stalling stuff, I don't want that. So I want it to be more professional. Still using my voice, so there's no copyright other than, I'm literally grabbing it and sticking it into an AI converter and having it convert it to my voice. But it works. It does what it's supposed to do. So one of the reasons I cut out volume here, mostly because I'm doing 3 times speed. Unless you want to hear a bunch of chipmunks, I had to get rid of that. But 2, I had my radio going at this point, and decided that I really couldn't use that because of the copyright from the music. So here we are instead. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to some free music that I can use. We'll finish out this video with that. I also want to put in my I use Strava app for keeping track of my miles and speeds and all that, and I want to put that in there for both the Valley of the Gods, which is also called the Bear's Ear, and this one as well, just so that you get an idea of how long it took or whatever. And it looks like this video is almost over anyway as far as this part is concerned, so I guess I'll just finish talking through this. Like I said, it was very, very nice area, and it seemed pretty decent. Loved the guy at the hotel, was very friendly, and yeah, it was all good all the way around. So thanks for listening.